Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the call. My name is Dr. Curt Fisnick, chiropractor. All of you already know that, but for people who are listening to the recording, I've been a chiropractor now for next year will be 30 years, and I really got into age reversal medicine about 15 years ago, maybe even just a little bit longer than that. Well, how do we make it so that people can live to the genetic potential? Because that's really it. We're not trying to bypass the biological clock that God put in us, but what we're trying to do is figure out how do we get it so that we can get to that genetic potential, and how do we get there in a way that we don't get sick, we don't have those old age diseases. And I remember a number of years ago, my middle son, who is now in his second year of medical school, he and I were talking, and I told him at that time I wanted to live to be 100 years old, and he's like, Dad, he said, why? He said, people get all those diseases, they get cancer, they get Alzheimer's, they get Parkinson's. And I mean, this is when he was in high school, he's telling me this, and I thought, you know, that's true. And so as I watched the, I guess it's called anti-aging, but it probably shouldn't be called anti-aging, because when you say anti, it means not. So not aging means you're dying. So it really shouldn't be called anti-aging, and that's why you see me calling it age reversal a lot and longevity, because you know age reversal is really what we want. We want to be able to turn the clock backwards, or at least slow it down, and prevent us from aging faster than what we're supposed to. And so there's a lot of science going into it. And if everybody will remember, last year, February of 2015, I believe it was the last issue in February of last year, Time magazine had a picture of a baby on the cover, and it said this baby could well live to be over 140 years old. And in the article inside, a scientist that I'm actually going to hear speak on Friday talked about the fact that they feel that with all the technology and the science and using the information that we know now, that a baby was born last year that will probably live to be 140 some years old. And you think about that. I mean, what would it be like to be 140 years old and sitting there talking to people? I mean, how many generations of people would you be talking to, right? And if you had all your wits about you and you were still healthy, wouldn't it be kind of fun? And that's what I think about. Now, I never thought about living that old, but I want to live to be 110, and that's kind of the age I've chosen, and I'm trying to do everything that I can. And so that's one of the reasons that I got into Sisel, the first product that really hooked me. I mean, it was like you know, I was a fish in the lake, and the bait on the end of the hook was TSX. And I started following that lure around, and all of a sudden it caught my lip, and here I am. And I had already been looking at other products like Product B, and I'd been looking at, you know, TA65, and then I saw TSX, and in my opinion, it's the most powerful telomere product on the market. And I'm going to be talking to people about it down here. You know, we've got some of the best products on the market. It's just nobody knows about us. And so the other thing that I want to talk about was, you know, when I do a Sisel Live event, I did my presentations with just two products. I walked into the meeting room, and I had in my left-hand pocket, I had a bottle of TSX, and in my right-hand pocket, I had a bottle of 4 Restore. And I decided, you know, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go in there, and next time I might grab 2 different products, but for right now, those are 2 really good products. And I'll tell you how I really did the meeting, and maybe it'll help you when you go talk. I mean, so I kind of gave an introduction of who I was, why I was there, and why they had me come and speak. And then I talked about Sisel and kind of where we come from and in the history of Tom Maurer a little bit. But then I brought out the TSX and I said, here's my favorite product. And I explained it, not in detail, but I just explained that 2009 Nobel Prize was given to a group of scientists because they discovered that they could turn the clock backwards on your DNA. That's really all I said on it. And I asked the group in the room, I said, do you believe that? And they, some of them you could tell that they didn't, and they were optimistic and skeptical. And I said, you have reason to be. I said, but the 2009 Nobel Prize was given to this group of scientists. I mean, think about that, the 2000 Nobel Prize. I mean, obviously they had proved pretty well that they could do it. And I said, so if it could turn the clock backwards and you could get younger, I said, would you be interested in taking the product? And of course, everybody in the room was like, well, yeah, they'd take the product. I said, well, it's $150. And the room went silent. And I asked one young gal, I said, well, I thought you were interested in getting it. And she said, well, it's $150. I said, yeah. I said, that's for 30 pills. So they're $5 a piece. I said, I said, how many bottles do you want to buy? And she said, well, I can't afford that. And I said, yeah, and that's really the answer that a lot of people have. And I said, so we really can't start a business around this product. I said, but you do want this product, and you do want to pay attention to this product, and eventually you really do want to get on this product if you want to live healthy and prevent old age diseases. But let's start by taking a look at a different product. And I said, you can build a business around this one product. And I brought out the 4 Restore. And what I talked about there was, I said, here's a product that it uses special ingredients that really what they do is they help your cardiovascular system. They makes it so your blood vessels stay soft and pliable and stretchable so that it keeps the blood pressure under control. It makes it so that your cardiovascular system works better. And I happened to have a lady there in the room that had been using it, and her blood pressure, she'd been working on lowering blood pressure for about 15 years. And she started taking that product right after the convention when the product was introduced in April. And within 2 weeks, her blood pressure was within normal limits, right? And we can't say it cures blood pressure, but what it does, it helps with the blood vessels and the health of the blood vessels. And I looked at some of the younger people in the room, and I said, some of you're not worried about blood pressure, and you probably wouldn't buy the product for that. I said, but how about if I told you this same product that helps with blood pressure and the cardiovascular system, it helps out with sexual function, and it helps balance that out, and it helps make it so that it works better. I said, you think you could sell a few of these bottles of this product just to some of your friends? And of course, I got some smiles from the group, and they agreed they could. And by the time we were done, everybody that was there as a guest was getting started. They were either buying the product or they were going to get started as a distributor, and based on the 4 Restore, not the TSX. But in the back of their mind that when I talk about the TSX in the future, they're going to be listening again and again and again, and eventually they're going to want that product. So in order to make it affordable, we got to help them build a business, and that's how I explain it to them. So if I could help everybody in the room make $300, $400, $500 a month, would you be interested in taking some of the other products? And of course they said yes. And so then, I was able to talk to him about that, and so that's kind of how I ran the meeting, and it went a lot better, and we were really done with the main part of the meeting in about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, rather than 2 hours, and everybody was happy about that. And I said, we do have over 200 different products ranging from this and this and this and this and this, and then I was done. And so that's kind of how I did that, and I thought it was really good to do it that way. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great evening. Thanks, Bev. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.